Now, yesterday, the Parliament Committee for the Section 194 inquiry into the suspended public protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's removal from office, temporarily paused its work until a later stage due to members being involved with other parliamentary commitments. Now, this comes after the committee's evidence leaders continued to present their evidence in the absence of Advocate Mkhwebane, despite concerns raised on the funding of her legal team, which was withdrawn by the Office of the Public Protector due to budget constraints. Now, some of the presentations focused on the witnesses who came before the committee and court judgments against her, including the South African Reserve Bank and the Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan matters. Now, the Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane has questioned the latest turn of events and the illegality of the process. And she joins us now to discuss the issue and her concerns. Advocate, good morning to you, and thank you very, very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Leanne. Good morning to the SABC Morning Live listeners. And yes, thank you for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure. So, Advocate, the Parliament or the Committee for Section 194 inquiry into your fitness to hold office was temporarily paused. This was in your absence. We saw this happening yesterday to accommodate the members' other parliamentary work. So I know you asked for a postponement, but this isn't quite a postponement. There's other reasons were given. So what is your view now on the break that it is taking?
My view is that the travesty of justice has continued to happen since the previous, I think 7 days. Remember, we stopped the proceedings end of March when I was told that the Public Protector Office won't be able to fund the proceedings of my legal team going forward. And the chairperson was willing to find a solution. He announced that upon resumption on Tuesday, the 11th of April, after Easter weekend, he will also find ways to do that. But then what is problematic is that the very same following day, the chairperson continued with the evidence leaders, and I had to write an agent letter to him, a letter of demand, to stop the proceedings. And when I tried to inform the chairperson that I've written a letter, he shouldn't proceed, that's when he muted me. And he said it's a committee meeting. And I asked and questioned why the evidence leaders are continuing to present. Then he was saying they were empowering the members, which to me is a very wrong and illegal and unlawful process which he is following. So unfortunately, they continued since the beginning of April up until yesterday with this unlawful process.
Yeah. So what we heard from Janti was he was saying that this is not a court of law. This is the rationale he gave. This was not a court of law. It was an inquisitorial as opposed to accusatorial hearing that is taking place, and therefore it should continue with evidence leaders. Was this reasoning not enough for you?
That is totally wrongly. And remember, as the Public Protector, I conduct my investigations. Our inquiries in fact, we conduct our investigation in an inquisitorial manner, not accusatorial manner. And each and every person in this country is subjected to the Constitution, irrespective of what they are doing. If you conduct yourself, you conduct any inquiry, the law is there, the Constitution is there, you should be respecting the Constitution. So he went ahead and even being in contempt of the Constitutional Court by proceeding with the committee work. Why the committee is there? I am the subject of the committee. How do you proceed with me not being there, with me not having my legal representation being there, and you just say it's committee work, and you allow the evidence leaders to dwell and deal with the merits of the matter, and where have you seen that? And the very same evidence leaders who are not supposed to be behaving as if they are prosecutors or they are persecutors, they should have advised the committee legally you cannot do that. Whether it's in court, whether it's in arbitration, whether it's any inquiry.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think he is totally wrong. Be the lawmaker and reason like that, because no one deserves to be treated like this, Leanne.
Yeah.
Being the head of the constitutional institution, anything which is done to me, it should be something which it wouldn't be done to an ordinary person on the street who does not have a way of fighting injustice. So
All right.
if he reasons like that, it's so unfortunate.
So, Advocate, on the 4th of April, just going back to when this all began, you actually wrote a letter to the National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Ntlokula, and the President to intervene in, as you have described, as a violation of your rights and constitutional obligations. After the Office of the Public Protector withdrew your legal funding due to budget constraints, they were saying it's cost in excess of 25 million rand, and they just cannot afford to continue paying this. So have you received any responses yet about the whole issue around funding? Has it been resolved? Have they replied to your letter? Perhaps you can update us on that.
The chairperson replied, actually the first one to reply was the speaker, who indicated that she can't intervene. She won't stop the process because I was telling her in terms of section 181(3) of the Constitution, the speaker is obligated to protect the institution. This is a violation of my rights. They cannot proceed like this because the committee is the committee of parliament and I account to parliament, and parliament should be intervening, make sure that they avail resources, because the resources were availed after the Constitutional Court judgment. My legal team was paid several times, yes, until such time they couldn't pay. And the speaker then indicated that no, she can't intervene. And as far as she's concerned, the Constitutional Court didn't indicate who should pay. I mean, it's so, I don't know how to label that particular response, because they are the ones who are holding me to account, Leanne. The very same issue which they are blaming me for, now when Janji is saying this is an inquisitorial process, the public protector investigate under an inquisitorial nature, but I am blamed and I'm told I am biased because I didn't give this one an opportunity to respond and this one to respond. But that's that. Yeah. The chairperson responded, and the chairperson was even indicating that they will proceed. I will be given an opportunity later. The wrong advice they were given by the legal advisor of Parliament, Fatima, that they can just proceed. How do you do that when I'm not there and my legal team is not there? So, and he said it's the work of the committee, and he'll still continue to check where they can get the resources. What's worse is that he's also been saying, why don't I approach legal aid? I mean, worse being the lawmaker and reason like that. And legal aid is there for criminal and civil litigation, marriages, estate, and stuff like that. And he says that, and there's a means test there. I can't. They need to provide. And I've been saying, where they get money, and I think you should be also asking, as the media, how much is being paid or how much has been paid to the evidence leaders? Why evidence leaders have to waste all this time, this unlawful, and participate in this unlawful process? How much are they being paid? Where they get money for the evidence leaders, let them get money for this.
Well,
so
we certainly saw from
responded.
the state capture inquiry how much these evidence leaders do get paid, and that bill does run up to a lot of money. But I want to ask you, just in terms of what was said yesterday, where Janti actually said that, I'll quote him, saying the higher officers dealing with Mkhwebane's funding is working on it, and there is a commitment that the process must be concluded. And then he announced the pause in the committee and the hearings right now. What did you read into that? So who are these higher officers? Where is the funding going to come from for your legal fees? What is your reading into that?
I think you can ask him, Leanne, but the state must fund this. Since the president has not responded, he only asked for time to respond. In fact, his office, because he was committed. So I'm still waiting for the president to respond. And the fact of the matter is that I propose that I want to proceed, and I want to this process as well to come to conclusion, but it has to be lawful, it has to be fair. And unfortunately, already they've caused a lot of damage. That's so embarrassing. Being this, the world is watching. I'm the president of IOMA. Yes, they will elect another person. I'm serving in IOI board, and the world is watching this process. But you behave as parliamentarians, lawmakers of the country, like this. What kind of a constitutional democracy are we having? Indeed, I would want to proceed. Indeed. I would gladly want to go back, let them find resources so that I can go and account. That's all what I'm asking for.
So you're happy
Though I said I participate under protest because there's a number of illegalities which have happened. The recent one is this one of the Western Cape High Court.
Yeah, and that's what I want to ask you, because the Western Cape High Court dismissed your application to have the chairperson of the committee removed, basically. What is your response to the order you're about to give us? And I suppose my question to you is, are you going to appeal this court's judgment?
The last question, I'm going to appeal this judgment, Leanne. We raised the issues of recusal. It was on a number of grounds. The first one, the chairperson and the committee expanding the inquiry or the charges beyond what the three panel members, wasting a lot of times themselves by expanding the inquiry. The chairperson refused amending directives without consulting us. The refusal to call a number of witnesses who are key to assist the committee. The chairperson always favoring the arguments of the evidence leaders, not showing that he is unbiased in the proceedings. And then the chairperson, the comments he made even before being the chairperson as the member of the Justice Portfolio Committee, that I'm incompetent, that was raised. The chairperson, the West, which broke the camel's back, was when he refused to postpone when I was sick, Leanne, and the members continued to ask questions to Ms. Tejane without me. Secondly, they proceeded as well when my legal team was not there to engage and lead the evidence of Niels van der Merwe, one of the witnesses. I was also not there. Yeah. Those were the issues against the chairperson. Milham, the West, married to the complainant. He never declared through the committee, irrespective of whether he in parliament he did. But now I am supposed to be judged by that particular person. And what the court does, they didn't deal with the merits, Leanne. The court said, I must just wait until the work of the committee is finished. I can't bring this matter during the proceedings. I must wait and then review the report. What kind of justice is that?
So finally, let me wrap it up for you. Sorry, because Advocate, we've got 1 minute to the news, so you'll have a chance just to finish this up and wrap it up if you can, please, quickly. The committee's evidence leaders continued with their presentations, and we saw that, and they dealt with judgments. This was yesterday that were against you, including the matter between the Office of the Public Protector and SARS, and the testimonies of witnesses that came before the inquiry. So I suppose what people want to know is why Why is it essential for you and your legal team to be present for this, just to have the evidence presented to them? Why is it important for you? And you did call this a kangaroo process. Perhaps you want to wrap up by talking to us about why you think this is a kangaroo process.
What have you seen the process where the accused person is not present in the proceedings? Why? Why then waste so much money? And if they wanted to do what they were doing, they should have done it last year, July already, and just take the court judgments and just say, okay, Mkhwebane, you are guilty. You don't have anything to answer because the court said. And I think with my evidence in the Busasa and the so-called rogue unit matter, I've shown what the courts, the very same judgments where they were wrong based on the wrong facts. The Freedom matter, I'm still going to unpack it and show that I was clobbered with personal cost and cost on wrong facts, being accused that I changed Madonsela's report. And she was there, she also testified herself that there was no report. So it's important for me to present my side of the story. Then why waste time to even have the panel and have evidence leaders? It's an inquiry. Why must they just proceed without me? Yeah. I think those people who are asking that as well, then they need to question themselves. Where have you seen that? Even in an ordinary criminal case, an ordinary matter where you deal with labor-related matters, the person must be there, they must answer, they must present their side of the story. Why do they do that? So it's a kangaroo process, Leanne.
All right.
And the judges as well for coming up with costs against me. Why do that when you are saying and another court might come to a different conclusion? Why was it not each party to pay its own cost? Because I'm dealing with this matter on my own. And the courts are there, and it's the only way I can go. No one else is prepared to protect me.
All right.
So that's the only way I can absolve or I can exercise my rights.
Advocate, I have to leave it there, but I think you've given us a good perspective of your standpoint on all of this. That, of course, was the suspended public protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, talking to us about the objections into the Parliament's Committee for Section 194 inquiry into her fitness to hold office, continuing in her absence and without any legal representation.